My younger son paid my bills for 7 years without telling me, even after I told him to move on when his brother stole his girlfriend and got her pregnant. I repaid him by demanding he raise his brother's 3 kids, give his brother his business, and threatening to skip his wedding if he refused. He chose his peace over my demands. His wife wrote me one letter: he's going to be a father. He knows exactly what kind of parent he doesn't want to be. I'm that parent. And now I have nothing. I called it a mistake. My older son sleeping with my younger son's girlfriend of 4 years, getting her pregnant, destroying his brother's entire life. I called it a mistake. Like he'd spilled coffee on the carpet. Like he'd forgotten to return a phone call. Like it was something that could be cleaned up with an apology and a little time. These things happen, I told my younger son while he sat in my kitchen, shaking. His whole world collapsed around him. People make mistakes. You need to move on. Move on. I said that to a 23-year-old boy who had just discovered that his older brother had been sleeping with his girlfriend for 6 months. That she was pregnant. That the family he'd been planning to build was now his brother's family instead. And I told him to move on. I'm writing this at 2 a.m. because I have nowhere else to put these thoughts. Because my younger son stopped paying my bills 3 months ago, and the electricity is getting shut off next week, and I have no one to call. Because I made demands I had no right to make, drew lines I had no right to draw, and lost the only son who ever actually loved me. My name doesn't matter. I'm 61 years old, and I destroyed my family because I couldn't stop protecting the son who didn't deserve it. I have 2 sons. Had 2 sons. Now I have neither. My older son is Ryan. 36 now. He was always my favorite, and I'll admit that here because there's no point in lying anymore. He was my firstborn, my golden child, the one who could do no wrong. Charming, handsome, the kind of person who walked into a room and made everyone notice. He was also selfish, manipulative, and completely incapable of taking responsibility for anything he did. But I didn't see that. Or I saw it and made excuses. Because he was my Ryan. My baby. My pride. My younger son is Nathan. 33 now. He was always quieter. More responsible. The one who got good grades without being asked, who helped around the house without being told, who never caused problems or demanded attention. I took him for granted his entire life. Because he was easy, I assumed he didn't need me. Because he never complained, I assumed he was fine. Because Ryan was always in crisis, always needing to be rescued, always the center of every storm, Nathan just faded into the background. He noticed. Of course he noticed. Children always notice when they're loved less. But he never said anything. He just kept being good. Kept being reliable. Kept hoping that someday I'd see him the way I saw his brother. I never did. Nathan met Jessica when he was 19. College sweethearts. She was everything he deserved. Kind, smart, funny. They balanced each other perfectly. He was quiet, she brought him out of his shell. She was anxious, he calmed her down. They dated for 4 years. 4 years of holidays together, of inside jokes, of building a future. Nathan was going to propose. He'd shown me the ring. A modest diamond he'd saved for over a year to afford. He was so proud of it. I'm going to ask her on our anniversary, he told me. I already talked to her dad. He said yes. I was happy for him. I think I was. But part of me was already thinking about Ryan, who was 30 at the time and still bouncing between jobs, still single, still struggling. Part of me was wondering why Nathan always had to be the successful one, the stable one, the one who made the rest of us look bad. I know how twisted that sounds. I know. 3 weeks before Nathan planned to propose, Ryan came to me with news. He was seeing someone. Someone special. Someone he thought might be the one. I was thrilled. Finally, Ryan was getting his life together. Finally, he was going to settle down, be responsible, make me proud. Who is she? I asked. He wouldn't tell me. Said it was complicated. Said he wanted to wait until things were more official. I didn't push. I never pushed Ryan on anything. 3 weeks later, Nathan showed up at my house at 11 p.m. I'd never seen him like that. His face was gray. His hands were shaking. He looked like someone had died. Nathan? What's wrong? He couldn't speak at first. Just stood in my doorway, trying to form words. It's Jessica, he finally said. And Ryan. What about them? They've been sleeping together. For months. She's pregnant. It's his. The words didn't make sense at first. I heard them, but my brain refused to process them. That's not possible. Ryan would never. He told me himself. 20 minutes ago. He said he's in love with her. He said they're keeping the baby. He said he's sorry, but he can't help how he feels. Nathan was crying now. My 30-year-old son, sobbing in my doorway like a child. And my first thought, God help me, was, Ryan must have had a reason. I should have held Nathan. Should have told him how sorry I was. Should have called Ryan and screamed at him for destroying his brother's life. Instead, I said, let's not jump to conclusions. Let me talk to Ryan first. Jump to conclusions? He admitted it, Mom. He's been sleeping with my girlfriend for 6 months. She's having his baby. What conclusions am I jumping to? I just mean. There might be more to the story. You know how Ryan is. He doesn't always think things through. Nathan stared at me. You're defending him. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying. You're defending him. Your son just destroyed my life, and you're already making excuses for him. Nathan, that's not fair. Not fair? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. You know what's not fair? Spending 4 years building a future with someone, planning to propose, imagining your kids and your house and your whole life. And finding out your brother has been sleeping with her the whole time. That's not fair. Me expecting my mother to be on my side? That's basic. I didn't know what to say. So I said the worst possible thing? Maybe this is for the best. If Jessica was capable of doing this, she wasn't the right person for you anyway. You should move on. Find someone better. Move on. Like 4 years meant nothing. Like his brother's betrayal was a favor. Like he should be grateful. Nathan looked at me for a long moment. I'll never forget that look. It wasn't anger. It was something worse. Realization. You're always going to choose him, aren't you? No matter what he does. I'm not choosing anyone. I just think. Save it, Mom. I understand now. He left. He didn't come to family dinners after that. Didn't call. Didn't respond to my texts. I told myself he was being dramatic. That he'd come around once he calmed down. He didn't come around. Ryan and Jessica got married 6 months later. A small ceremony. Just close family. I went, of course. Ryan was my son. I couldn't miss his wedding. Nathan wasn't invited. Or maybe he was and refused to come. I never asked. I should have asked. The wedding was beautiful. Jessica was glowing, already showing her pregnancy. Ryan looked happier than I'd ever seen him. I told myself this was meant to be. That Nathan would find someone better. That everything happens for a reason. I told myself so many lies. Their first child was born 4 months after the wedding. A boy. They named him Ryan Jr. I was a grandmother. I should have been overjoyed. But every time I looked at that baby, I thought about Nathan. About how this should have been his child. About how his whole future had been stolen and given to his brother. I pushed those thoughts down. I focused on Ryan. On being a good grandmother. On pretending everything was fine. 2 more children followed. A girl, then another boy. 3 grandchildren in 5 years. Ryan and Jessica seemed happy. Their family was growing. Everything was perfect. Except Nathan was gone. He'd moved to another city. Started his own business. Something in tech. I didn't understand exactly what he did, but I knew it was successful. Very successful. He never called me. Never visited. Never sent birthday cards or Christmas presents. He'd cut off the entire family. I told myself he was being childish. Holding a grudge. That eventually he'd grow up and realize family was more important than petty resentments. I was wrong about everything. 7 years passed. 7 years of pretending I only had one son. 7 years of watching Ryan's family grow while Nathan became a stranger. 7 years of convincing myself I'd done nothing wrong. Then Ryan's life fell apart. He lost his job first. Budget cuts, they said. But I heard through family friends that he'd been caught stealing from the company. Nothing was ever proven, but he was quietly let go. Then Jessica left. Took the kids and moved in with her mother. Said she couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't be married to a man who lied, who cheated on her with multiple women, who spent their savings on gambling and get-rich-quick schemes. The man I defended for 30 years was exactly who Nathan had always seen. A liar. A cheater. A taker. And I'd chosen him over the son who would never have done any of those things. Ryan moved in with me after the divorce. 35 years old, 3 kids he could barely see, no job, no savings, no prospects. He slept in his childhood bedroom and played video games until 3 a.m. while I paid for everything. I told myself he just needed time to get back on his feet. That's when I learned about Nathan's wedding. One of my cousins mentioned it at a family gathering. Nathan was engaged to a wonderful woman he'd been dating for 2 years. They were planning a wedding for the following summer. My son was getting married, and I didn't even know he was in a relationship. I found Nathan's number through family connections. Called him for the first time in 7 years. Hello? His voice was deeper than I remembered. More confident. Nathan. It's Mom. Silence. I heard about your engagement. Congratulations. More silence. I'd like to come to the wedding. I know we haven't talked in a while, but you're still my son. I should be there. Why are you really calling? The question caught me off guard. What do you mean? You haven't reached out in 7 years. Not once. So why now? I should have said, because I miss you. Because I'm sorry. Because I was wrong about everything and I want to make it right. Instead, I said, Ryan needs help. Nathan laughed. Actually laughed. Of course he does. His marriage fell apart. He lost his job. He's struggling, Nathan. He's your brother. My brother slept with my girlfriend, got her pregnant, and stole my future. And you told me to move on. So I did. I moved on from all of you. Nathan, that was 7 years ago. And you still haven't apologized. You still haven't admitted you were wrong. You're not calling because you want a relationship with me. You're calling because Ryan needs something and you think I might give it to him. I wanted to deny it. But I couldn't. Because he was right. What does Ryan need? Nathan asked quietly. He needs money. To get back on his feet. And the kids need stability. Someone to be there for them. You want me to give Ryan money? He's family, Nathan. He's a stranger who shares my DNA. There's a difference. He has 3 children. Your niece and nephews. They didn't do anything wrong. Nathan was quiet for a long moment. I'll think about helping the kids. But not through Ryan. And not through you. He hung up. I should have left it there. I should have been grateful he even answered the phone. Instead, I made demands. I called him back the next day. And the next. I sent emails. I sent letters. I told him that if he was really successful, he had an obligation to help his family. That his brother was struggling and needed support. That those children deserved a better life. And then I made the ultimatum. If you don't step up, if you don't help your brother, if you don't take some responsibility for this family, then I won't come to your wedding. I'll tell everyone why. I'll make sure people know that you abandoned your own flesh and blood when they needed you. The silence on the phone was deafening. Let me make sure I understand, Nathan said slowly. You want me to financially support the brother who destroyed my life. You want me to raise his 3 children. You want me to give him my business, the one I built from nothing while you were playing grandmother to the family that should have been mine. And if I don't, you'll boycott my wedding and tell everyone I'm the villain. I want you to be responsible. I'm responsible. For myself. For my fiancé. For the life I built without any of you. Ryan made his choices. He can live with them. Those children are innocent. I'll set up a trust fund for the kids. For their education. Managed by a lawyer, not Ryan, not you. That's my final offer. That's not enough. They need a father figure. Ryan isn't capable. Then Ryan should have thought about that before he slept with my girlfriend. Nathan, I'm your mother. I'm asking you. No. You're demanding. There's a difference. And I'm done. If you don't do this, I won't come to your wedding. Then don't come. He hung up. I didn't go to the wedding. I thought he would blink first. I thought when the wedding day came, when he realized his own mother wasn't there, he'd understand what he'd lost. He'd reach out. Apologize. Agree to my terms. The wedding happened without me. I know because I saw photos online. A friend of a friend posted them. Nathan in a beautiful suit. His bride, a woman named Claire, radiant in white. Hundreds of guests. An outdoor ceremony at some vineyard. Everyone smiling. My son got married, and I wasn't there. I wasn't there because I chose Ryan. Again. For the 100th time. Even after everything Ryan had done, I still chose him. And Nathan finally stopped choosing me. The aftermath came quickly. See, what I hadn't told Nathan during those phone calls was how much I'd come to depend on him without realizing it. Over the years, even though we weren't speaking, Nathan had been quietly paying my bills. I didn't ask him to. I didn't even know at first. After his father died, 8 years ago, I'd struggled financially. The house was paid off, but property taxes, utilities, medical bills. It all added up. I'd mentioned it once to my sister, who must have mentioned it to someone who knew Nathan. The bills just started getting paid. I thought it was some automatic thing my husband had set up before he died. I never questioned it. It was Nathan. Silently, without acknowledgement, without asking for anything in return, my estranged son had been making sure his mother didn't lose her home. I found out 3 months after the wedding, when the payments stopped. The electric company called first. Then the property tax office. Then the insurance company. Accounts that had been paid like clockwork for years were suddenly delinquent. I called the bank. Traced the payments. Found out they'd been coming from a company called NR Holdings. Nathan's company. My son, the one I'd abandoned, the one I told to move on when his brother stole his future, had been taking care of me for 7 years. And I'd repaid him by demanding he raise his brother's children and give Ryan his business. I tried to call him. The number was disconnected. I tried to email him. Blocked. I wrote letters. They came back unopened. I even tried to find Claire, his wife, on social media. She blocked me too. My son had built a wall so high and so thick that I couldn't find a single crack. Ryan was no help. When I told him the bills weren't getting paid anymore, he shrugged. That's Nathan's problem. It's not his problem, Ryan. It's my problem. And it's your fault. He looked at me like I'd slapped him. My fault? How is any of this my fault? You slept with his girlfriend. You got her pregnant. You destroyed his life. And when he finally started to heal, I called him and demanded he give you money. Give you his business. Raise your kids. Those were your demands, not mine. I made them because you needed help. I always need help, Mom. That's what you're for. He said it so casually. So matter-of-factly. Like I existed solely to clean up his messes. And I realized, for the first time in 36 years, exactly who my older son was. He wasn't unlucky. He wasn't misunderstood. He wasn't struggling against a world that was unfair to him. He was a parasite. He'd been feeding off everyone around him his entire life. Off me. Off Jessica. Off Nathan. Off anyone who was foolish enough to care about him. And I'd enabled every second of it. Get out, I said. What? Get out of my house. Find somewhere else to live. Mom, I don't have anywhere to go. That's not my problem. Not anymore. It took 3 weeks to get him out. He fought it. Cried. Begged. Said I was abandoning him when he needed me most. I told him to move on. The same words I'd said to Nathan 7 years ago. They tasted like ash in my mouth. Ryan eventually moved in with a friend from his gambling days. I don't know where he is now. I don't ask. The children are with Jessica. She's remarried. A good man, from what I hear. He's adopting them. I've never met my grandchildren. Not really. I saw them a handful of times when they were babies, but Jessica stopped bringing them around after the divorce. Can't blame her. Ryan's children will grow up not knowing who I am. Nathan's children, if he has any, will never know I exist. I did this. All of it. The electricity got shut off last month. I'm using a neighbor's Wi-Fi to write this. Sitting in a dark house, wrapped in blankets because I can't afford heat, typing on a laptop that's almost out of battery. My sister offered to let me move in with her, but I can't face her. She warned me about Ryan years ago. She told me I was being unfair to Nathan. I didn't listen. Everyone warned me. I didn't listen to any of them. I started therapy 3 months ago. Pro bono, through a community center. My therapist is a young woman who doesn't judge, even when I tell her the worst parts. Why did you favor Ryan? She asked in our second session. I don't know. Yes, you do. I thought about it. Really thought. Because he needed me. Nathan never needed me. He was always fine on his own. But Ryan needed me constantly. And I like being needed. So you neglected the child who was self-sufficient to focus on the one who demanded all your attention. I didn't see it as neglect. I saw it as triage. Ryan was always the emergency. Nathan was stable. And yet Nathan was the one who paid your bills for 7 years without ever asking for acknowledgement. Yes. And Ryan is the one who took everything and gave nothing back. Yes. So which one actually loved you? I couldn't answer. Because I knew. I'd always known. Nathan loved me. Despite everything. Despite the favoritism. Despite being told to move on when his brother destroyed his life. Despite 7 years of silence. He'd loved me enough to make sure I was okay. And I'd thrown it away by demanding he give his abuser money and a business and children to raise. I tried one more time to reach him. I wrote a letter. Not asking for money. Not asking for forgiveness. Just apologizing. Dear Nathan, I'm not going to ask you to pay my bills. I'm not going to ask you to help Ryan. I'm not going to ask you for anything. I just need to say what I should have said 7 years ago, and 20 years ago, and your whole life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for always putting Ryan first. I'm sorry for telling you to move on when you were heartbroken. I'm sorry for missing your wedding. I'm sorry for demanding things I had no right to demand. You deserved a mother who saw you. Who valued you. Who loved you as much as you loved her. I wasn't that mother. I don't know if I can ever become her. But I'm trying to understand why I failed you so badly, and I'm trying to be honest with myself about who I was. You don't have to respond. You don't have to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I finally see it. All of it. And I'm so sorry. Love, Mom. I sent it to his company address. It was the only one I had. 2 weeks later, I got a response. Not from Nathan. From Claire. His wife. Mrs. Name, Nathan asked me to respond to your letter because he couldn't do it himself without saying things he'd regret. He read it. He cried. He's not ready to forgive you, and he may never be. But he wanted you to know that he's okay. He's happy. We're expecting our first child in the spring. He's going to be a father, and he's going to be a good one because he knows exactly what kind of parent he doesn't want to be. He asked me to tell you not to contact him again. This is the last communication you receive. But he also asked me to tell you one more thing. He said, tell her I hope she finds peace. I have. Sincerely, Claire. I read that letter 47 times. My son is going to be a father. I'm going to have a grandchild I'll never meet. He found peace. Without me. Because of my absence, not despite it. It's Father's Day today. That's why I'm writing this. Because Nathan is going to be a father soon, and I won't be there to see it. Because I spent 30 years being a mother to the wrong son, and now I don't get to be a mother to either of them. I sold the house last week. Couldn't afford to keep it. I'm moving into a small apartment in a senior complex. It's clean, it's safe, it's affordable. It's lonely. I have 2 sons and 3 grandchildren. I have none of them. I had a son who loved me enough to pay my bills for 7 years after I told him to get over his brother's betrayal. I had a son who would have done anything for me if I'd just seen him. If I'd just chosen him. Just once. I never did. And now he's building a family without me. He's going to hold his child for the first time, and I won't be there. He's going to watch that baby grow up, take first steps, say first words, and I'll know nothing about it. Because I demanded he raise his brother's children. Because I threatened to boycott his wedding. Because I couldn't admit that I'd been wrong about everything. If you're reading this and you have children. If you've ever favored one over another. If you've ever dismissed one child's pain to protect another child's ego. Stop. Stop right now. Because I was you. I told myself I was being fair. I told myself the responsible child didn't need attention. I told myself the struggling child needed me more. But need isn't love. Dependence isn't devotion. And the child who never complains is often the one hurting most. Nathan never complained. He just quietly loved me and waited for me to love him back. I didn't. And by the time I understood what I'd lost, it was too late. I have 2 sons. One of them is somewhere I don't know, living a life I know nothing about. One of them is about to become a father, and I'll never hold his child. And I spend every holiday alone, knowing that the silence isn't punishment. It's consequence. The natural result of choosing wrong, over and over, until there was nothing left to choose. Your children remember everything. Every slight. Every comparison. Every time you chose their sibling over them. They remember, and they carry it, and one day they'll be strong enough to put it down and walk away. Nathan walked away. He found peace. He found love. He found everything I should have given him but didn't. The only thing he lost was me. And based on who I was, that wasn't a loss at all. Don't be me. See your children. All of them. Before they stop letting you.